If there's one concept, one spiritual idea that I could completely throw in the trash, completely eliminate from this reality, that would be the concept of twin flames. Today, I want to talk about how twin flames can be very detrimental, very damaging, and how one can shift out of that concept of twin flames and into a concept that's even more empowering and, better yet, a higher vibration. Before we jump in, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification button, because if you're on your intuitive journey, your awakening, this is a channel that is empowering you, giving you the tools and the knowledge to take your spiritual path to the next level. And I don't want you to miss any of it. In other sessions, you may have heard me talk just briefly about twin flames and how I'm not a fan. But today I want to go into why. I want to share with you an experience that came across my table and really put the exclamation mark on this for me. I also want to talk about how I understand the positives around this concept and how we can shift this concept of twin flames into something healthier while not losing that depth of description on how deep a relationship really is. Let's start here. When it comes to twin flames, if you're not familiar with the spiritual concept of it, I'll do a little bit of a review here. Chances are good if you're in this session, you already know what I'm talking about. But twin flames, in essence, is a concept that when you come down here to Earth, your one soul is split in half, put into two human bodies, and then at some point in your lifetime, if you're lucky, you will find that other living person, and the two parts of your soul will come together and you will be whole again. Now, this concept came from a woman in the 70s. Newsflash, for anyone that's not aware of this isn't even an old concept. This isn't even a religious-based concept or a spiritual concept from thousands and thousands of years. There was a woman in the 70s. She, I believe she ran a church, or she was a church leader of some sort, a universal type church, very spiritually based, but she coined the term. And I like to believe that she coined the term trying to talk about those particular relationships that we find in our lifetime that are so deep, we just don't have any other words for them. What I find detrimental and what I've seen to be very harmful, and I'll share an experience with you around that as well, what I found to be very harmful is this concept that you're not a whole soul. This concept of twin flames is that you're broken coming down here. You're not even complete. And you won't be complete until you find another soul, until you find your twin flame. There's positives and negatives with this. I'm going to reiterate that I do understand the positive of it. I understand having the words that you can use to really say to someone else, this is how deep, this isn't just a typical relationship. This isn't, I'm dating, or this isn't, I'm deeply in love. This is really deep, extremely connected. People that experience a level of depth in these types of relationships, they may be able to read each other's minds, finish each other's sentences, although that's pretty common with all of us in love. But they have more in tuned, visions and intuitive information that comes through about their partner, and they are connected at a depth that is really, really, really deep. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because I don't want to lose that piece of this, because that's real. It's legit, but when we put the word twin flame on it, we open up the door to a little bit of damage. Here's why. When someone takes this concept on and they say, okay, I'm in this relationship, it's super intense, it's super deep, I've never been this close to another person ever, and they stumble upon the concept of twin flame, they are immediately robbed of their value. Immediately, what is taken from them is part of their soul. And they're put into a spot of now believing that they're not complete without this person. That is an invitation for some people to experience their relationship in a harmful way, in an abusive way. It's an invitation for some of us to accept abusive behavior or accept unacceptable behavior because someone will say, well, I can't leave. This is my twin flame. This is my other half of my soul. I'm not going to leave me. If I left my partner, my twin flame, I would be leaving me. I would be broken for the rest of my life. Hopefully you can kind of see where I'm going with this. That hurts my heart for others because that's just not the case. We don't come down here split in half. We don't start our lives broken, only half of your soul. It does not happen that way. And in order to break free from this, I really invite people to back away from the concept of twin flame and instead come up with another term, come up with another way to describe that perhaps you're in a relationship that is a soulmate, that is closer than any other soulmate experience you've ever had. I respect that deeply. Absolutely. Little thing about soulmates, which is wonderful. They don't have to be lovers. They can be friends. They can be a family member. You don't have to have a romantic relationship with a soulmate. What a soulmate is someone who challenges you in a positive way or also challenges you in a negative way so strongly that you change your trajectory, you change your path in a way that in the end will get you closer to where you want to be on your spiritual path. Soulmates, some come in, they're there permanently. I've done readings before as a medium. I did readings for years and years. I've done readings for people who have come into my office who lost their spouse of 60 years. To energetically feel that level of love is moving, to say the least. I was a little envious too at times. Like they'd come in and I could feel that depth of love, knowing that like I had never really felt that depth of love in a relationship up in that point in my life. And it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. But the inability to, know that you are, this thing that blocks me so much with this concept is it's a deep relationship. It is a soulmate of a type. It's going to launch you in the direction you need to be launched in. And that can be negative. It can be positive. When it is negative, it's not necessarily wrong. And perhaps on your spiritual path, not always, but perhaps on your spiritual path, it is an experience you need to have. I've had mine in the past where I look back on that now and I'm like, yeah, that was horrible. But here I am today. I've grown from it. I've learned to set healthy boundaries. And now I'm thriving unlike any, time that I have in the past as a result of it. And part of that is some of the difficult situations that we've had in our past. So soulmates can be a positive influence. They can be a negative influence. Both of those influences are like launching pads, just to send you off into the next level. That's the goal of the soulmate. Occasionally you'll have a soulmate, like, my closest friend, I have a soulmate. We're soulmates for good. And we're just present for each other. And you can feel that it's unlike any kind of a relationship you've had. This isn't, this is a friend, just straight up friend, but soulmate. So soulmates don't have to necessarily be lovers. They can be friends, they can be family members, etc. Soulmates will challenge you to be a better version of yourself or challenge you to step into experiences that you might not have stepped into until they showed up. Soulmates are part of your soul group. On the other side, you have your soul group, you come down, you have multiple lives together, playing different roles in each life. It's one of the things that I think is so magical about being here. And then they come into your life at a set time, and they either stay permanently or they are only in for a period of time. When it comes to twin flames, however, twin flames is taking this soulmate concept and putting it into a category that you can't get out of. So if it becomes harmful, if it becomes abusive, then there is this lingering cloud that's hanging over you that says, well, if you leave your twin flame, you're leaving part of yourself behind. You can't leave. You're complete when you're together. And this can invite people into taking more abuse, more struggle, more conflict than they would if they saw this as a soulmate connection instead of a twin flame connection. This idea that you're broken from the get-go and that you're not complete until this other human being completes you is detrimental and damaging. And it can take away from some of us the ability to set the healthy boundaries we need to set, because we're invited into thinking, I'm not going to set a boundary to myself. And this other half of me is completely reliant on me, and there's no way that I can get out of this situation. I've seen this happen. I didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, twin flames, that's interesting. Yeah, that doesn't really resonate. No, I have talked with so many people, clients, students over the years, so many who have said, I'm in a twin flame relationship. And it typically follows with, here's the pain and the suffering I'm experiencing as a result of being in this relationship. But because it's a twin flame, I can't get out. So what do I do? We have to be together. I have sadly met individuals, and I pretty much work with women, so I can't even think of a male that's ever come to me and said, hey, I'm in this twin flame situation that I can recall. It's been mostly women, because that's, the demographic that I work with. And these women have come to me and said, here's my connection. It's a twin flame. That's usually put right out there, which is translated very quickly now in my mind as I can't get out. When we use twin flame, there's no option. Leaving is not an option. That's what twin flame does. And what do I do? What do I do? This is happening or that's happening. Here is a recent one that really kind of inspired me to do this session, because it hurt my heart. And I wish that this didn't happen to this individual, but somebody recently reached out to me, a little bit of a trigger warning here. But she reached out to me and she said, one of the first things she said is, I'm in a twin flame situation. And my question is, if I leave this earth, and she was very clearly, she used words that I'm not even going to use here for trigger reasons. But if I, leave here, end this life, does that mean that my twin flame, that he will finally be able to live a robust and happy life? This individual was in such a state of this twin flame concept, and I don't know for sure because I haven't had the chance to actually speak with her. I did reach out right away, resources, help, everything that I could do to connect on a level to assist. But we haven't spoken, and even if we did, it probably wouldn't share all the personal details anyway. But what this is an individual who got into a relationship. It's detrimental, it's damaging, it's emotionally damaging. She's struggling as well. And part of the struggle is, we're twin flames. So if I go, then, will that make his life better? And obviously the answer is no, that you are important and you are loved, and you have such beautiful, amazing reasons to be here. But this is some of the pattern that I see with twin flames, and this is why I get so frustrated with this. Let me put it this way. Spiritual coined term, basic, limited concept that one human individual in the 1970s came up with. It's a concept that says you're not whole and you're not complete. And I'll tell you this right here and right now. From the other side all the way down here, all the way to the end, all the way back to the other side, you are absolutely perfect. You are not broken. You've signed up to come down here as a soul to have experiences. And yes, you may come across another individual where your connection is deep, absolutely deep. You have something very powerful, very meaningful to learn from this. You have an experience to be had in this. But at some point, when it becomes so damaging, the inability to leave due to a spiritual concept is hard for me to take. It's hard for me to stand behind. So not a fan, not a fan, not a fan of twin flames. I'm a fan of soul companion. I'm a fan of soul partner. I'm a fan of ultimate soulmate of all time, 7 gold stars winner, never ever been better than this, never ever will get better than this ever. I'm a fan of any of those terms. But when you take a spiritual concept that says to you that you're broken and you're not whole, I can't get on board with that, and I won't. I won't. You've come down here to experience your spiritual path and experience your human path. You've come down here to learn how to make decisions, to take a left, take a right, go in the direction that you want to go in. As a whole, our job as a spiritual group, as a whole, as an existence here, is to love each other unconditionally. And many people come down here struggling with how to do that. I think if we went back in time and you met me and I was like 22, 23, I probably wouldn't really have a big grasp on loving people unconditionally. I was taught very well by my grandmother through my life on how to do that. And we learn this, and we learn compassion, we learn understanding, but very importantly, we learn how to set healthy boundaries. Is it easy to do it first? Nope. Does it take practice? Absolutely. Can it be tough? Yes. Some of the most compassionate, loving, giving, highly empathic spiritual people are people pleasers. And we really struggle to set boundaries. We really struggle to say, hey, I don't want to get lost in this and I don't want to get hurt in this. And twin flames can rise its head up to say, or its 2 heads up in Greek mythology, to say, you can't get out. And I disagree. Absolutely disagree. So when it comes to having that really, really deep connection with another individual, I honor it. I respect it. Yes, yes, and yes. These connections are going to happen. They're going to be so deep and so connective that you struggle to find words. You wish you had a word for it. But when you step into that next space, into this twin flame concept of it's a deep connection because I'm only half of me and they are the other half of me. I'm broken and I'm only whole and complete when I'm with this other individual. That's where we get into the damage. That's where we get into into emotional abuse, into struggle, into being trapped and isolated in something that perhaps would be healthier and better to get out of. So let's talk about what we do. If you're in a relationship where you are saying, this is my twin flame, Bo, I know I've been listening to you, kind of not listening to you because I really want to hold on to this concept of twin flames. I get it. I totally get it. But I'm going to encourage you to start brainstorming about a different term. And I'm going to encourage you to open up to the understanding that when two souls, not one broken in half, but when 2 souls that are very intertwined on the other side, 2 souls that are part of a soul group that are so close, they are right next to each other, they share space energetically. This is why you can connect on the levels that you can connect on. When those 2 souls come down here and find each other, it's fireworks. It's magnetic. It is your energy's amped. You have your intuitive channel opens wide, but it's 2 souls coming together. Like a chemical reaction. You put 2 different chemicals in and kaboom, right? It's not one chemical that you split in half and then put that same chemical into the same thing. It's just going to sit there. And then part of the mixture is going to say, I think I'd like to get out of this bowl, but I can't. So if we walk away from twin flames, if we step into, yes, I honor how deep it is of a connection, honor how intense your intuition is now open as a result of being with this person, honor the doors that are opening in your life with this person, that when you're together, you're amped up. Honor that. But also remember, this is a human experience. Give yourself the words to address how deep this is, but also give yourself the ability to step out if it becomes damaging to your human existence and to your spirit. That's my take on twin flames. Come up with a different word, something really fun. Don't lose that depth of power of love, but please lose the inability to get out due to a spiritual term coined in the 1970s. An important part of the twin flame concept is empaths. If you're an empath, if you're highly sensitive, click this video and watch it next. I think it's going to be really helpful for you.